Hi everybody, so today I am going to be reacting to Drew Gooden's video on why technology is no longer fun. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and let's get into it.
Hey guy, a couple weeks ago I was at an Airbnb trying to figure out what the $200 cleaning fee is supposed to cover if they're just gonna make me do a bunch of chores anyway, when we realized that episode 4 of Severance had just come out. And what great timing, this place had one of those beautiful 85-inch frame TVs that make it look like an art piece on the wall. They had surround sound, they had a telescope pointed at the TV. I couldn't imagine a more perfect place to watch what would turn out to be a slightly confusing episode of television. So we turn it on and instantly we're like, why does this look like shit? I know that this TV costs thousands of dollars, and yet the moment anything moves on screen, it turns into this jumbled, blurry mess. But of course, because this kind of thing has been happening for years, we knew it was because of True Motion or Motion Plus or whatever this TV.
What is off on? So they're just making technology more complicated. Maybe we missed the peak of good HD footage on TVs. Maybe that was 5 years ago. I don't know. But yeah, TVs are ridiculously expensive. They're like as much as you would pay rent on a huge mansion or something. Like $4,000 for a TV. That's insane.
He calls that feature where it smooths out every frame and makes everything you watch look like it was shot on an iPhone. The best thing about this feature is that it's always on by default, and nobody I've ever met likes it. It's also named something different by every manufacturer, which makes searching the menus for it a little adventure every time. Now, I know I'm not even close to being the first person to complain about this feature. It seems like everybody hates it, but that's also why it's so confusing to me. If so many people hate this,
Don't forget to sneakily disable motion smoothing on your relatives' TVs today.
why after
Seriously, motion smoothing can go F itself. I just spent a weekend in an Airbnb with no TV setting controls. Motion smoothing turned on, it was horrible. All garbage. Even my wife, who never notices TV quality, was appalled.
For over a decade, are TV manufacturers still forcing this down everyone's throats? How do they benefit from making their product look worse? I remember ecstatically buying this Samsung in 2019 and almost returning it because the default settings made it look so bad I thought it was defective. I just kind of sat there in denial about it for almost a week before being like, this can't be right. There has to be a setting I can change. Tragically though, a lot of people don't know about this setting. They don't realize their TV is actively sabotaging their viewing experience, and if this doesn't describe you, it
Okay, yeah, I had no idea. I think it's because I just don't buy TVs like ever. I have one TV and it still works, so I just use that one. But I can see how this could be a serious problem for people who visit their relatives on like Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, birthdays, whatever, and then Super Bowl when they go watch something on the TV and they're just like, what the hell is going on here? You know?
probably describes someone you know, and by that I of course mean your parents. So sit down with them, explain what's going on, tell them why you get a headache whenever you watch TV with them, and reiterate that it's not their fault. Show them this video by a guy named Noodle.
Let's say it's on twos. The AI doesn't smooth anything between the first and second frames of a single drawing because there's nothing to smooth. They're the same picture. This means that what was originally a perfectly fine 12 FPS animation is now a janky mess.
Or if they'd prefer to hear it from someone they know, have Tom Cruise explain it.
Video interpolation, or motion smoothing, is a digital effect on most high-definition television.
I'm Tom Cruise.
Just make sure they never find out about the whole Scientology thing. You cannot ruin Top Gun for your dad. That movie's very important to him. Now, I will admit, I was a little surprised reading some of the
My dad loves Top Gun.
comments on this video, seeing so many people disagree. I didn't
Wait, I think maybe it's because they're making TVs, they're making them so like nerdy for those people who really know about TVs and technology and like you want to get the exact settings so you can watch TV, but that's not what they're for. TVs are for people who just want to use them so they could have a bigger screen and so it can look better. We are not trying to get all those perfect settings. We just want something that works as soon as we get it. You know what I mean?
know people liked it when the $100 million movie they're watching looks like a soap opera. Now, I understand, of course, from a gaming perspective, people preferring higher frame rates, but I don't think that logic applies to movies. Games are interactive, so generally the smoother something is, the more responsive it feels. But you're not interacting with the movie, you're just watching. It doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. In fact, I think part of what makes a movie look like a movie is is the sort of ethereal nature it has. It doesn't look exactly like the way the world around you does through your own eyes, and I don't
Right.
think it should. I saw someone
No, that is interesting. So it's kind of like they're making TVs for content creators or people who are savvy with technology. Like you want to get it so perfectly the settings that you want as if you were filming on a Canon camera. But that's not the, I want to say, market for TVs in general, because even if you're like Drew and you make videos, you're not going to want to do that for your TV. They're not videos. It's for movies, it's for TV shows. You want to see the way those shows were created, and you just want to watch them smoothly.
say they like it because it shows the flaws in movies you couldn't see at 24 FPS. And it's like, no, the interpolation
Why do you want to see the flaws in movies?
is creating those flaws. It's not reverting a film back to its original settings. It's not a director's cut your TV's giving you private access to. It's just generating new frames based on what it thinks should go in between the existing ones. That's where the errors come from.
That reminds me of the AI in iPhones. I think it was iPhones that if you like zoom in a lot, it'll just start adding colors. Oh my God, yeah, that reminds me because of the Johnny Depp trial. They were like trying to, no, 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 it wasn't the Johnny Depp trial. It was the trial for, well, if I remember, I'll tell you. But anyway, so like supposedly the guy was holding a gun, but it was because the AI in like an iPad was adding pixels to make it seem like he was holding a gun at that moment, and it was pointed in one. The trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. That's what it was. Anyway, so the judge didn't let that go in because, or maybe he did. I don't remember. Sorry. But I think that the point I'm trying to make is AI adds pixels to frames that they think those pixels should be in so that they can make up the picture. They just fill it with pixels and the colors they think are associated with that frame.
You're not watching a more authentic version of a movie because Sony Motion Flow added a bunch of blurry auras around every fast-moving
Oh my
object. The most
gosh,
authentic version
that looked terrible.
of a movie is watching it the way it was filmed. You shouldn't have to change anything. And I think more than anything else, that's what really aggravates me about this feature, is the hubris of it. There are so many deliberate choices that go into making a movie look a certain way. There's so many people involved in those decisions that know way more about cinematography than I do. So
True.
I trust
I mean, movies are an art form. Media like this is an art form, so when you buy a painting, do you just start adding different colors to it? No.
their vision. Why can't TV manufacturers do the same? Why do they look at a beautifully shot television show like it has a problem that they need to fix? Anyway, this experience got me thinking about new technology in a more general sense and how my excitement towards it has waned over time. Sometimes it seems like we kind of already figured everything out. You can communicate with anyone in the world instantaneously. You have immediate access to every piece of music ever made. You can pay some guy to deliver a cold burrito straight to your door, and it only costs $70. This is the peak of humanity, baby. There's nowhere else to go from here, except backwards. So many things now seem to just invent a new problem so they can sell you the solution. Or if we do create something novel and revolutionary, it's
Netflix to stream live movies for free? What?
only gonna stay that way long
Isn't Netflix like millions of dollars in debt?
enough for us to kill all our competition.
Rip cable TV, why Hollywood is slowly killing its biggest moneymaker. You know what? You know what I really hate? How expensive it is to watch football. Like it used to be so easy. It was just on cable TV. And now it's like $600 a month to watch every single thing with football, like Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, all of these football days. And now it's like
Allowing us
$600
to
or
ruin
something.
our thing and make it infinitely more expensive.
There was a
Damn.
time where streaming services seemed like the final frontier of at-home entertainment, a marriage of cost and convenience that made all previous options
ad.
obsolete. I mean, my DVDs are
Sponsor?
just taking up space.
I think this is a
So
sponsor.
slowly but surely going back to physical media. Things like Blu-rays,
maybe it wasn't.
vinyls, tooth tunes. And I've actually begun that migration process myself. But because I'm incredibly stupid, here's how it's going for me so far. I started watching Friday Night Lights for the first time in December. It was something I had wanted to watch for years but always put off, which is crazy because it's a show about football, which I like, with a bunch of music from Explosions in the Sky, a band I grew up listening to all the time. It kind of felt like they made this show specifically for me, and still I was like, I'll get around to it eventually. It wasn't until a couple of months ago that I finally gave it a chance and got really into it. 12 days before it was going to be removed from Netflix. For the last 2 weeks of December, I binged as much of the show as I could, as quickly as I could, until around 3 a.m. on New Year's Eve. 13 minutes left in the season 2 finale. I was given an abrupt error message telling me that my beloved show was now gone. At this point, I was pretty invested, and I didn't just want to wait until it was maybe on Peacock one day, and I certainly didn't want to spend $2 per episode to digitally own it. So I decided what better time than right now to begin my brand new Blu-ray collection, starting naturally with a show I had yet to watch even half of. So about $37 and 8 days later, my Blu-rays show up at my door and I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to see how season 2 ends.
Wait, so owning the physical copy with DVDs is cheaper than buying the episodes online, but DVDs are not a thing anymore.
I pop the disc in my computer, try to play it, and it does not work. Turns out the external DVD drive I bought a couple years ago isn't compatible with Blu-rays, so I'm gonna have to buy another one. No problem, what's another $110? Jesus Christ. Well, I already bought the Blu-rays, I'm not gonna not watch them. So I bite the bullet on the Blu-ray drive. It shows up 2 days later, pop it into my computer, so excited to learn what will become of Brian Smash Williams. Huh, that's weird, doesn't seem to work on VLC.
So I think the point he's getting to is that you can't watch you like the cheaper option is obviously to buy the physical DVD copies, but you can't even watch them anymore because there isn't a DVD player that works for them.
Or the Any DVD app. I guess I could spend $20 on Blu-ray player, play Blu-ray, but that one says in its description that it doesn't play Blu-rays. At this point, I'm a little frustrated, but even more than that, I'm confused. So I go where I always turn to in times of crisis, a Google search with the word Reddit thrown onto the end. And believe it or not, even on Reddit, home of some of the most dedicated people on the planet, every single answer I see is, nah man, Power DVD 23 Essential is your only option. There is one way to watch Blu-rays on your computer, and it is with this app. You want to know how much that app costs? $80. And it's like, I don't want to spend another $80, but I've already spent more than that just to make it to this point. I have to see this through to the end. Anyway, I bought the app, and it works most of the time. Although I should probably say it's been doing this thing now where it tells me my cloud subscription has expired and I need to visit the Cyberlink members zone for more information. So, money well spent. Long story short, I spent $227 to watch a show that I could have seen on Netflix at any point over the past 7 years. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if I like it that much. Also, I know what you're thinking. Drew, couldn't you have just put the Blu-rays into your PS5, you moron? Yes, I could have. But the whole point of watching it on my computer was so I could second screen RuneScape on my other monitor. What part of dopamine addiction do you not understand?
Sorry, that was more of a story about my own incompetence than a rant about the state of technology. So here's a rant about the state of technology. I live in Orlando, Florida. My favorite basketball team is the Orlando Magic. They play basketball 20 minutes from my house, and I am not allowed to watch them on TV because I live too close. I can sign up for NBA League Pass and watch any other team play except for the one in my city because of blackout restrictions. What do you think, I'm stalking them or something? Whoa, this guy's obsessed. He lives right down the street. I don't understand this restriction, and frankly, I never will.
Wait, first of all, I don't even understand the blackout restriction. I have never heard of that. And second of all, why would you not want the locals in your area to watch their team? Because they're obviously the people who are going to be most naturally interested in that team. What the hell?
point to incentivize me to buy a ticket to go see them in person, they play 41 home games a year. Am I supposed to go to all of them? And if that was the point of it, they wouldn't also black out road games unless you expect me to travel with the team. Guys, do you want me to follow them around or not? I'm getting mixed signals here. Anyway, here's what I've had to do the past 6 years as a paying customer in order to watch my team play. First, I had to sign up for Sling TV because they were the only ones with the Fox Sports Florida channel. Then those two couldn't reach an agreement, so I had to switch to Fubo TV because they were the only ones with the Fox Sports Florida channel. Then those two couldn't reach an agreement, so I had to switch to YouTube TV. Can you get
Like that thing I was talking about with football, that they totally screwed the viewers, the fans, the actual people. They screwed them. Now you have to pay so much money per season to watch all of the games.
guess where this is going? Yeah, they couldn't reach an agreement, and now I can't watch it anywhere, this time in the middle of a season. So out of desperation, I sign up for NBA League Pass, which again prohibits me from watching my team because I live too close. The workaround here is using a VPN to change my location to somewhere else. So now I'm paying for 2 different services just so I can watch the least popular team in the NBA. Adam Silver should be ecstatic that there are freaks like me out here. He should have a photo of me in his office that says #1 customer. So what do they do to thank me for my loyal patronage? Block the use of VPN 6 months later. Do you guys want my money or not? I'm trying so hard to give it to you. Okay, now we're in 2022, and finally, there's a streaming app specifically made for people to watch their local team play. It's a miracle. It's called Bally Sports, and it is the worst app I've ever used in my life. It freezes during commercials. The feed cuts out constantly, especially in the 4th quarter. Not that I wanted to watch that part anyway. It refuses to remember my login information in between games. Did I mention they play 82 of these every year? I'm getting real tired of typing in my password every night. While all of this is happening, behind the scenes, Bally's parent company is not doing so well. They lose over $1.2 billion in 3 months. What, were they setting it on fire? Fast forward a few more months to 2023, and Bally is filing for bankruptcy. Well, it was nice while it lasted. Nope, they're still going. Somehow. Turns out I don't know what bankruptcy actually means. What I do know is that this probably doesn't bode well for the growing list of technical problems they apparently don't have the money to address. So that brings us to today, where after 3 tumultuous years, I'm excited to report that the app is now a little bit more reliable. But also it's been rebranded to the FanDuel Sports Network, which means every second of every broadcast is pretty much just one big ad for gambling. I should make a video about that. I know that this is one very specific gripe about a very specific problem, but I feel like there's so many things like this now. So many companies that seem to get their rocks off from making us have to jump through hoops in.
I know, it's like they just made it so tricky and expensive. You have to get Peacock, then you have to get Amazon Prime, then you have to get YouTube TV, then you have to get ESPN or whatever, you know what I mean? Like you have to get all of these subscriptions to watch your games, when in the past it was so much easier. Just like he's talking about TVs, they used to be just, you would buy a TV, it said HDMI on it, it was better than your last TV. You put it in, plugged it in, turned on the TV, beautiful, loved it. Bigger screen, better quality. Now, bigger screen, worse quality. You have to go into the settings to fix it. Well, the same thing with with football. You have to pay so much more money to watch the same games, but it's even harder to watch them because before it was so easy because it was all on cable TV.
In order to do anything. They're constantly merging with some other company so they can both be sold to a third company. Content bounces around from streaming service to streaming service like a hot potato. We tried to streamline everything and only made it more complicated. I can't keep up. I'm just a lowly consumer. Everything's so confusing now. I need a break. An ad break. Let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
Hi,
Oh
I'm
my
the
God.
youngest I'll ever be, and I'm here to
Okay,
tell
I'm
you
gonna
about
skip this part.
so far I'm about to describe is just because of my diminished sense of wonder as I've aged. But I feel like there used to be a time when technology was a lot more exciting to me. I mean, what could be more fun than a gadget? Well, besides a gizmo, of course. But it seemed like most things that came out had a genuine purpose, that there was more of a collective desire to push humanity forward.
Yeah, it was like they were making technology better so that it could make lives easier. Now they just make technology like the Apple Vision Pro. They just make it to give you another thing, another shiny object to have. Is it actually making your life easier? No. When are they going to let the robots out? I mean, if they're going to take over the world, then so be it. But those robots are actually going to come in pretty handy. They could be the ones getting our groceries for us.
Provide solutions to actual problems. And I know that this is all still happening, but it seems like so many innovations now are just new ways to manipulate people, or spy on people, or replace people altogether. I'm not excited about what might be created in the future as much as I'm fearful of it. I'm fearful of what AI is threatening to do to every job on Earth. I'm fearful of all
Okay,
these
but I'm sorry, but like AI is here and it's only going to get more powerful. I don't see anyone stopping the progress of AI.
humanoid robots that keep popping up. What if one of them tries to kill me? Or worse, what if we fall in love? How am I supposed to explain that to people? For every OLED Steam Deck and surprisingly powerful tiny Mac computer, there seem to be 10 wearable AI companions, or a TV that's free because it never stops showing you ads, or what if you could wear your phone on your head so it could never stop showing you ads? I remember when touchscreen smartphones came out, and I practically started drooling at the idea. This device, which I hate more than anything in the world, is incredible. It's truly amazing what this thing is capable of, but now the question is, where do you go from here? The jumps in phone technology have become pretty unnoticeable, despite how hard they're trying to get us to notice them. When we went from landlines to cell phones, that was crazy. When they added a full keyboard so you didn't have to spend 30 seconds typing one word, that was crazy. And then they added email, and a really good camera, and a touchscreen, and a GPS, and the internet, and a compass, and now you can pay for parking on here, and you can download apps that stop you from spending too much time on
With your
other
family?
apps. Oh man, that line's really starting to slow down, huh? And this
Yeah.
phone costs 4 times as much as
Yeah.
this one did.
Okay, but if people just stop buying them because they're so expensive and overinflated, then that market would just go down. And then that means that companies would prioritize actual advancements in technology. Okay, if people are still going to buy the newest iPhone because it's the newest iPhone, then companies are going to keep making them with no advancement, little to no advancement in the tech. Okay? It's just like a marketing scheme now.
No, that makes sense. If you Google "has technology peaked," their AI overview will tell you, no, of course
Overlord.
not. I'm getting stronger every day. And consider this your second strike, Drew. That's awfully ominous. And what was my first? No, of course technology hasn't peaked, but like, it does feel like it's starting to level off a bit. The
Plateau.
improvements between video game consoles used to be astronomical. Now I end up on a side-by-side comparison video.
Oh, let's see this. Okay, so resolution mode, Pro. Oh, okay, so this is the Pro versus not the Pro. It just seems like this is lighter. It's just a little bit lighter than this side. And I wonder the difference.
Squinting as
in
hard as I
cost.
can trying to spot any difference. In 1995, video games looked like this. 10 years later, they look like this.
Okay.
10 years after that, they look like this. And in the 10 years since, they look like, wait, which one?
No, well, I guess the difference is that this one, the people look more lifelike, and the colors are more vibrant, which is obviously going to catch your eye. But I see his point, like, in terms of quality, they're both
One is a new one?
the
And I know
same.
I'm viewing this from a consumer standpoint. I'm completely oblivious to the strides being made in medicine and science and interplanetary defense mechanisms. But it just seems like whenever a new thing comes out, we have to pay a lot for very little. Technology has gone so
I
far
agree.
in the wrong direction that people
And
are now
things are just so expensive now. Maybe as a community as a whole, We all just have to start boycotting dumb inventions, dumb marketing schemes, or just stuff that isn't going to help us out, you know? If we just started doing that, companies would shift their focus on things that make more sense for everybody.
Trying to find ways to go back. Physical media is making a comeback. Dumb phones are making a comeback. As people
That's
become more
true.
disillusioned to the future that was promised to us, the best way to break out of it is to recapture a sense of simplicity. And not
I
all
mean,
of
that's kind of what we do with fashion and what people are wearing. I see more and more that the 90s jeans are coming back. Those big baggy flared jeans are coming back. Um, yeah, I think that's
this
it.
is just nostalgia. I think some of it speaks to the fundamental
Oh
difference
yeah,
in
oh yeah,
how
oh yeah. He's using a typewriter and he's using an old
things
TV.
are made now. You used to be able to own things. Now almost everything is borrowed. You're not
That is so true. They're making you get on subscriptions because that's how they make money.
buying a product, you're subscribing to a service.
It's just like when you buy a car, they want you to get on their financing things so that they can make money off of interest from you. They don't want you to buy out the car outright.
I don't own a bunch of music because I'm paying Spotify every month. I'm just temporarily given access to music until I stop paying and then have nothing to show for it. And even if you do buy a physical product, there's no guarantee it's gonna stay in the condition it was in when you bought it. A lot of things now can be remotely updated or even deactivated. The Spotify car thing completely bricked when they stopped wanting to deal with it. A few months ago, Roku forced an update onto all of their TVs, making it so you can't turn the motion smoothing feature off. This company just announced they're gonna start charging a monthly.
Wait, this smart thermostat company is considering charging users for its app? Oh my God, even thermostats are getting subscriptions.
fee so anyone who already bought their thermostat can continue to use it. We're buying things that can be made worse or taken away from us.
You know what it is? This is how I see it, okay? Rent is so expensive per month, right? Okay, but you have to pay it every month so you can continue to live somewhere and have shelter, right? Okay, people figured out that for centuries, landlords have profited from the subscription method of rent, which you have to pay monthly. So they have this income coming in every month. Well, now everybody's figured out that they all have to be landlords in their sectors so that they get rent money every month. You know what I mean? It's just another landlord scheme. People don't own anything anymore. Like he's saying, like you can't even own movies anymore because they went out of, Blockbuster and all that went out of
Us
business.
whenever the manufacturer feels like it. So what are we even buying anymore? These things aren't designed to last because the entire economic system in this country is based on perceived shareholder value. If I sell you a product that you only have to buy once and then get to keep it forever, how will I get more money from you in the future?
Yeah.
How will line keep go up if transaction over? So things break or become obsolete. A lot of tech devices are more affordable than they used to be, but they're also more disposable. The interface on your 4-year-old smart TV suddenly takes 10 times longer to navigate. Your iPhone 12 suddenly crashes 5 times a day. No, we're not doing that on purpose. But it does kind of seem like a sign that it's time to buy a new one, right? And this isn't a conspiracy or an exaggeration. Technology is making us dumber. Rarely while using your phone are you in the driver's seat, except when you're texting while driving, which is a lot of fun. But it's mostly a passive activity. More often than not, you don't open an app in order to do a specific thing. You open an app and just see whatever it chooses to show you. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't.
True.
Either way, the past hour of your life was entirely decided by an algorithm. You're not thinking for yourself, you're not making a decision for yourself, you just turn off your frontal cortex and submit to whatever Mark Zuckerberg has curated for you. And the more we're conditioned to accept this relationship, the easier it is to sell us an AI agent that does all of our thinking for us.
Oh my God, that is coming though. People are already using ChatGPT all of the time. I use ChatGPT a lot just to ask it questions. Like, so I recently started wanting to garden blackberry bushes. So we have a lot of blackberry bushes growing in the back. And so I picked them up and I moved them and I planted them. Well, I went to ChatGPT and I was like, what's the best way to plant blackberry bushes that are wild? I asked it all of these questions, and I think it does a better job at explaining things as if I'm talking to an expert in that field in person. And, well, yeah, I think that that is true. Like, AI is going to start thinking for ourselves, but I think we're like at least 10 years out from it being actually capable of that because ChatGPT gets a lot of stuff wrong that I have to correct it on. So
Us and that we
it's
learn to
not there yet.
trust implicitly. I mean, how am I supposed to be excited about technology when this is the direction we're headed in?
It seems like everything is slowly trying to turn into everything else. A new app will come along with one specific niche use and then inevitably get turned into yet another form of social media. Like the Shop app. I've been using this for a couple years because I like the idea of having one account that works across multiple websites. But now, of course, it's just like another thing designed for you to scroll through. I open it up to see how far away my pants are, and it's like, oh hey, you want to buy something else while you're here? You want some Alpha Lion Superhuman Hulk juice? What about Goof juice? Chug juice? Oh, I know what you want. A little cake shaped like Texas. They also give you rewards, but it amounts to virtually nothing and is really just an excuse to send you more push notifications. Hey, don't forget to use that 14-cent credit before it runs out. It only works on this website that sells hoodies for dogs. You open up the Ring app so you can see who's knocking at your door, and they're like, hey, you wanna see this funny video of a goat? Venmo defaults to the
Okay, I get it. It's all just a way to push for more sales. I know. That's what they've been doing with everything. They're just trying to make more money. So stop giving them your money.
page showing you how many of your friends had pizza this week. Why do I need to know that? I bought that light in the corner a few months ago, and the only way to control it is through an app. And you're probably thinking, certainly there's no social media aspect to an app that turns lights on and off, and that might just be the dumbest thing you've ever said. Of course it has its own news feed and hashtags. Of course there's a pop-up telling me to take the Govi app user experience survey so I can earn 50 Govi points and a chance to win Govi merch. App is a goddamn joke now. Worst change to an app that could ever happen. Can't even remember my dream view settings anymore. May as well check all my lights in bin if this is the only way to control them. What a joke. Well, I wanted to respond to this comment saying that I'm just here for the Govi points, hashtag Govi rewards program, but that feature is only available to savvy users. So I agreed to the savvy terms and conditions, and they congratulated me on becoming a savvy user. You're following all of this, right? Instagram
Okay,
has
wait. Nobody reads the terms and conditions. And I am convinced that is just them asking for permission to farm your data and, know exactly how to market things to you so you'll buy them.
its own TikTok feature. Twitter has its own TikTok feature. And you probably guessed this because you'd never make the same mistake twice. The Govi app has its own TikTok feature. Everything is the same thing, and I'm tired of it. These apps are all so intent on monopolizing your time that
Whatever is trending, they are jumping on that bandwagon to make money
they'll
off of.
design it in a way that makes it hard for you to leave. You click a YouTube link on the Facebook Messenger app, and instead of just taking you there, it'll be like, oh, I guess you want to open that app instead, huh? All right, here's a button. It doesn't work though. No, I'm just kidding. It will work if you click it 15 times. And then it will take you to the App Store so you can open the homepage of YouTube and just search for that video yourself. Was that helpful? Good, it wasn't supposed to be. I just noticed the desktop Instagram website has incorporated that thing that's supposed to prevent you from accidentally exiting out of like a checkout screen or a form you're halfway through filling out. But they're just using it anywhere on their website. Literally scrolling through the homepage, I try to leave, they grab my arm and say, no, are you sure you're done with us? We were just about to show you a really cool ad. Are you sure you don't want to see what it looks
You know what? He's right. It's like that salesperson at the store who just keeps on bothering you and wanting to get you to buy something from the store, but now it's just an AI that the thing on the page that's like, "Are you sure you want to leave? Are you sure you want to quit this? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?" And that would annoy you so much if it was an actual person. You would never go back to that store, right? But because it's happening on your phone, you're kind of like, uh, yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna leave. But then you go back there and the same thing happens over and over and over again.
Looks like sometimes I feel like you don't even like me anymore. It's no wonder so many people are trying to turn the clock back on technology and return to a simpler era. Not so
Yeah.
far back that you gotta like eat bugs and sleep on a log, but
Right,
just back
right.
to when these modern convenience
When technology was actually useful and it was a good, positive aid in your life instead of now where it's a distraction. People are depressed, people are in debt, people are spending too much money on nonsense.
were still exciting and didn't feel so predatory and manipulative.
Predatory.
Technological advancements
That's so
don't
true.
feel fun anymore because of the motivations behind so many
Well, it's always been about money.
of them. It doesn't feel like we're trying to make life better when almost everything is designed to be as addictive as possible. These things aren't supposed to be fun additions to your life. They're supposed to be a new thing for your life to revolve around. And no amount of
Yeah.
profit or growth will ever be enough. It seems like there's more thought put into how you
It's all just greed. These are just greedy landlords. That's how I see it. Because at least before, you owned these physical copies. You owned books. You went to the store, you bought a book. This was your book. As long as you took care of it, you had the book forever. Well, now you're just borrowing everything. You're borrowing media. Like he said, you're borrowing songs. You're borrowing apps, like the right to use your lights because they're controlled through an app that you have to pay a subscription for.
can continue to charge people for something they already own than to just expand the experience of it in the first place. But hey, at least we're using all that extra revenue to pay the employees, right?
Wait. Laid off Marvel Rivals developer played a huge role for the game's key feature. Meta approves how bonuses of up to 200% of company executive salaries a week after laying off 3,000 employees. Large publisher lays off more than 100 employees after striking deal with OpenAI.
Sorry, I'm doing that thing again where I try to
Wow.
provide catharsis by
It's
ranting in a
already
critical yet
happening.
lighthearted
Robots are taking over jobs.
fashion, but just end up spreading more negativity in the process. So I'd like to end this video by highlighting some technological innovations that
Except the movies in the past, they got it a little bit wrong. They thought that these robots were actually going to be like humanoids and walking around and taking our jobs, but instead, it's just AI. Something you can't even see is doing the job.
I'm thankful for.
Number one, fiber internet. In 2018, we lived in a house where it would take me 2 hours to upload a 15-minute YouTube video. And during that time, no other device in the house could connect to the internet because I was using all of it. Now I get like 2 gigs per second and it never goes out. That's a luxury I know I take for granted. Now I should probably say that AT&T almost electrocuted me when they were digging in our front yard, burst into a water pipe, flooded half the neighborhood, and knocked down a power line, leaving live wires dangerously close to the newly installed moat
What?
they surprised me with. But they did offer me a $1 credit when I called to complain. So I wish I was joking about
Wow.
that. They destroyed our lawn and then offered $1 as an apology. And you know what? They're still not as bad as Spectrum. Number two, our Nespresso machine. This is the world's greatest invention. It's all the convenience of a Keurig, except it doesn't taste like burnt garbage, and you can actually send the pods back when you're done to have them recycled. I mean, allegedly. They probably just throw them in the ocean like I do. I can't believe these pods
my
are
God.
only moderately more expensive than K-Cups. They taste 100 times better, and you don't have to wait 45 minutes for it to cool off. Side note, how much money do you think Sabrina Carpenter turned down to not do a collaboration with them? They had to have asked, right? That's that mean espresso. It was right there. What are you guys waiting for? Some stupid YouTuber to promote your shit for free? Never gonna happen, bozo. Number three, electric razors. Why was I scraping the shit out of my face for so long? These things aren't just better, but they're cheaper in the long run because you don't have to change the blades all the time. And I can use it on my balls.
Oh,
Oh,
was that it? It was just the 3 things? Sorry, I thought I'd have more time to think of an outro here. Thank you so
That's
much
funny.
for watching. Subscribe, if you want. As always, YouTube gives me $100 for every new subscriber, which I like to withdraw as cash and use as kindling to help make it through this brutal Florida winter. So remember, every time you subscribe, you're keeping me and my family warm for a couple of minutes. Thank you for watching. Bye.
So that was honestly a really good video. I loved reacting to that. I just think that technology is obviously going to get better, and it's going to get better for everybody. The way I see it when it comes to all of these subscriptions, all of these things, like for example, I keep going back to the NFL because I think that's a pretty good example. You are just paying so much money to watch the same games, the same method or whatever of how these games used to be showed in the past, which was on cable TV, and it was free. Once people get tired of the way things are being done now, once they stop buying the newest version of the iPhone every single time they come out with a new one, that will be the day where technology feels it's forced to actually get better and to be of service to people. I just want to say that the way that things are now with technology is a direct reflection of the standards we hold as like a community, a society. And so as we change with that, so are all of these other things going to change with us. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but that was a pretty insightful video, and I think I just want to leave you with, you think it's a scam and it's going to affect you negatively in life, just don't do it, and save your money, because it's always good to have money for a rainy day instead of the newest iPhone. See you later. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you on the next one.